Hello and welcome, it's Dr. Red Frizzle here today, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the B4 section of OCR biology for GCSE level. Okay, so first of all, you need to know that you need to be able to name and locate the parts of a leaf. So to draw you out a cross section of a leaf. At the top we have our waxy cuticle. Then beneath this we have a layer known as our upper epidermis. Then beneath that we have a lot of very thin looking cells. Now there's a reason why these cells are particularly thin, and by the way, this layer is called the palisade layer, palisade mesafill layer to be precise. And the reason why these cells are so thin is so a lot of them can be packed in. And the reason why this is so important that a lot of them can be packed in is because these are the cells where primarily photosynthesis actually takes place. It actually takes place in organelles inside these, which basically are small organs inside these, known as chloroplasts. So I'll draw you a few spots inside these little squares, and these represent chloroplasts. Okay, so our upper epidermis, what do we need to know about this? Well, our upper epidermis is transparent, which means a lot of the light can actually get through the wax cuticle and the upper epidermis. The wax cuticle, as there's a clue in the name, waxy cuticle, it means it's got a waxy-like substance which prevents the loss of water basically from the upper side of the leaf, because otherwise a lot of transpiration, which is the term referred to as the evaporation of water from leaves, a lot of transpiration would occur, and plants don't want this because they want to keep as much water as possible. But the reason why it's so important to have this high surface area to volume ratio, and I write it down here, surface area to vol ratio, is because if they don't have a high surface area to volume ratio, they won't be able to carry out as efficient gas exchange as what they actually need to do in order to function correctly. Okay, so we came across this idea of the wax cuticle. We know that it needs wax to prevent this water loss. So how do the gases actually get into these particular cells? Well, this happens down here below all these palisade cells. So here we have irregular shaped cells, and this particular layer, so I'll draw you a little bracket of where these cells are actually found, is known as the spongy mesafill layer. It should be quite obvious why it's called spongy mesafill to you now. You might not obviously know yet, but the reason why anyway is because there's a lot of air spaces in between them, and this is maintained by this irregular shape of these particular type of cells in the leaf. And the leaf, by the way, in case you don't know, is an organ of a plant. We usually think of organs as being just something that's specialised for carrying out a particular function in people, but it can be in plants as well. Okay, so we come across this idea of the spongy mesafill now, and there's a lot of air space to enable gas exchange. So what gases are exchanged is the next sort of step in this video, and this is CO2 and O2. Now, because you're only GCSE level, I'm not sure sort of how much detail you've gone into with chemistry and stuff, but you should really know that CO2 is carbon dioxide and O2 is oxygen. And both of these gases can be found in the air in different proportions. I'll draw you a relative proportion sort of guide to what's in the air. So you have 79%, it's pretty much 3/4. I'm not going to draw this very accurately. It's probably about half. So let's say that chunk there, this big chunk around the outside here, is nitrogen. Then about 20%, so about a fifth, is oxygen. This is a very badly drawn diagram, as you probably established, but this is only to give you some sort of overview of sort of the relative proportions of gases in the air around us. And there's a small chunk here that's carbon dioxide. Okay, so CO2 and O2, oxygen and carbon dioxide are these gases that diffuse across this lower layer that's known as the lower epidermis. Now, there's something else you need to know about this lower epidermis. It's got particular cells in it known as guard cells. I haven't actually drawn these in, I've just drawn a continuous barrier. there's actually gaps in here to enable these gases to diffuse in. And the reason why these gaps are here is just as I said, to enable these gases to diffuse in. But there's cells that control whether these gaps are open, and these cells are located about here, and these are called guard cells. Okay, so guard cell. Probably won't be able to read that, but that just says guard cell. Okay, so these cells along this bottom layer are guard cells. Okay, so guard cells can open and close at will in order to enable gas exchange. You know, this whole idea of gas exchange can only take place supposing that there's the correct sort of conditions. So supposing the plant is losing too much water, because obviously water can escape during this gas exchange process. Assuming the plant's losing too much water, then this process needs to shut off and these stomata actually close. And how the plant does this is because these guard cells here fill up with water, and this increased sort of bulk of them, if you like, actually closes these stomata gaps. Okay, so that's pretty much all I want to talk to you about in terms of the function of this plant. And this is pretty much all you need to know for B4 Biology A. I actually looked this up. This is the OCR curriculum for GCSE. If you've got any questions on this curriculum, or if you believe there's something I've left out, if you go to sort of revision website and you think, oh, it says this and I haven't included that in particular, please let me know and I will make another video on it. But for now, that's been it for B4 Biology A. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.